Smith County Board of Commissioners meeting is now in session. Mayor Jeff Mason presiding.
Thank you. Mr. Judge, when you lead the prayer.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, Lord, and bring us all here safely tonight. We come to you with a heavy heart. We hope you pray that you continue to be with us as our communities. We all heal together from the storms from last week. You be with everybody. Help us build back, Lord, and we know we can do it with your help. Lord, we pray that you be with the lost, the sick, all those in need, all those dealing with lost loved ones. We want to be with our leaders all the way around the world, Lord, that we continue to look to you for guidance and direction. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Just a roll call, Ms. Stacy.
Shannon Green,
Here.
Lynn Reese,
Here.
Terry Gibbons,
Terry is not here tonight. His father, they took him back to football today for a possible another stroke, so remember that.
Billy Bass,
Here.
Greta Kirby,
Here.
Jason Stewart,
Here.
Jimmy Winfrey,
Here.
Daniel Cripps,
Here.
Don Haskell,
Here.
Shannon Michie,
Here.
Erica Eagle, here, Ron Schumate,
Here.
Ron Cowan,
Here.
Linda Nixon,
Here.
Eddie Stout,
Here.
Roger Dew,
Here.
Charles Kent,
Here.
Bill Reese,
Here.
Tommy Vane,
Here.
Joey Nixon,
Here.
Dennis Hackett,
Here.
Dustin Dillahay,
Here.
David Gross,
Here.
Frank Woodard,
Here.
23 present. We do have a quorum. All right. Item number 5 is the approval of the minutes of the February 10th, 2020 county court meeting. I take it everyone's had time to look over those. I will make a motion to approve unless there are some additions or corrections.
So moved.
Second. Second by David Gross. Ron made the motion. Mr. Gross is second. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion approved. All right, just a quick announcement tonight. Ms. Sarah Smith, Ms. Faith Worley are here with us tonight from youth leadership, so thank y'all for being here. And Ms. Rita Randolph is here from adult leadership, so we thank them for being here. And y'all bring your books up tonight, and we'll get them signed for you. Anyone else here from leadership that we may have missed? No? Okay, thank you. Is there any amendments or additions to the approval to the agenda? If not, I'll take a motion to approve.
So moved.
Shannon Green, second by Chaz. Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. All right, we'll move on to item number 8. That is our first item is our county mayor report. As most of you know, Smith County was struck last Tuesday morning with a tornado. The tornado started at Nashville to John C. Truman Airport and traveled all the way into Smith County and lifted back up just east of Lawrenceville-Hickman area. Preliminary reports had us at an F3. That may have changed over the past days. I heard some of that, but I don't know. During that night, we transported 6 individuals to local hospitals. There were no life-threatening injuries were reported that we are aware of. We were very blessed in this county that there were no fatalities. Mr. Sonny Carter, the emergency management director, was injured in a vehicle accident that night responding to the storm. He hit a tree in Grant that was across the road in the heaviest of the rain. He has a broken rib, and he was in the office today getting his paperwork started, but he seems to be healing okay. But Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, he was in a bad kind of way, and it was so bad that I didn't give him a hard time, and it's hard for me to do not to pick on Sonny, so because you how bad he sounded. But with that, Mr. J.P. Carver, who is the assistant director of emergency management, and we got him out of mothballs and brought him out to work, and he and Jeff Crockett and I did some damage assessments on Wednesday afternoon. Got the updated totals this morning. There was a couple of properties that we may have missed, and What we're looking at right now is somewhere in the $2.6 million range for Smith County. Now, I know there's probably been some questions about on that initial disaster proclamation last week and why we were left off of it. I spoke with TEMA about that Thursday morning, and they kind of asked us not to declare a disaster at that point in time, because at that point in time, we had everything pretty much handled. We weren't in a bind, per se. And he said, Mayor, if you declare a disaster right now, he said, we've got to immediately pull resources out of Cookeville, Lebanon, and Nashville to come to you. And I said, well, we're okay with that. So with that being said, though, the way he explained it to me on this first round, and the first round was just a fast track to get money immediately into the hardest hit areas. So what he said, we are a contiguous county, meaning that we touch all those counties, so we are still under that disaster. We're not named, but our citizens can go, if they don't have insurance and they meet certain thresholds, can get FEMA assistance. In the coming week, we will compile our numbers as far as what Upper Cumberland, DTC, Steve and his guys did, and probably the landfill as well, as far as when we start taking in debris, our numbers, what it costs us, and there will be a public assistance part of that FEMA that we're under as that as well. Now, we did talk this morning, there will be another disaster declaration that will go out probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks once they get everything back. And that disaster declaration with TEMA's this morning told me that our farmers at that point in time will be able to file for disaster relief to fix fences and things like that, and debris clearing. So we'll get some FEMA money on that. Our FEMA team will be here either tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday to look at our county. Thank yous. Wow, what a week it's been. It's first and foremost, Steve, Eugene, Jeff, Terry, all of our first responders, Sonny and his crews, fire departments, Miss Jimmy and I know they responded as well. They were in the middle of the storm getting it done. Shannon Minchie, thank you. You kept me updated all night, and I know it was a stressful night for you, and thank you for what you did. Our first responders, we owe them a debt we can't pay them, but we thank all of you for the jobs you do. And it kind of, when Sonny got hurt, it kind of made some things a little more difficult on that end, but we worked through them, got them done, because Ricky Gibbs and Richie Bowes and those guys, their captains stepped in and got it done, so thank them. Upper Cumberland, DTC, those guys, they went to work, had a lot of people back in power quick. Jimmy Gregory with Upper Cumberland, Chris Townsend with DTC, anytime I picked the phone up and called them, they gave me an update, and I thank them for that. And I know they had 100 million other things going on, but I appreciate them being forward and giving me an update on that. And thank God. I don't care if ACLU gets mad when I say that, I really don't. We are a blessed county because of your construction. And, I don't care what they say about F3, F0, the wind blew hard in Smith County. We were just blessed that it went in areas that weren't as populated. I looked back Tuesday afternoon and shivers went down me because it was bad where it was, but we were a quarter mile one way or other in some spots of being in the same position that Cookeville and Lebanon's in. So, I can't thank the good Lord above enough for that. One good thing that did come out of it, I want to thank Amy Dudley at Lawrenceville Drugs and Marty McCaleb and his wife Stephanie at Marty McCaleb Trucking. Amy started a relief point for bringing in supplies. As we do at Smith County, we got more stuff than we could use. Marty loaned a truck this morning, and we took a truck to, I believe they went to Charlie Daniels this morning with a load of stuff from Smith County today. So thank you for Marty for donating the truck, Amy for that. A Smith County Disaster Relief Committee was started during this, so that's a plus. Mr. Brandon McGowan, Amanda Mason, Amy Dudney, Lacey Crockett, and Junior Nesbitt will serve on that. Thanks to Bill Woodard for bringing that under the Smith County Living Organization and getting them where they all at 501c3. So they did good. There's a bank account, they raised funds, and gift cards. Some of those have already been distributed to needy people that needed that, and there will be more in the future. So, and then plus that way, we already have that in place, so God forbid another disaster comes, we have that committee in place where we can automatically give aid to our people. The churches, the people, and civic organizations that have given money, gift cards, and supplies. I got a call this afternoon from Brother Tim Frank. There's a guy got a tractor trailer coming from Ohio. Well, I immediately called Mayor Hutto in Wilson County because we knew that Putnam County was already full. We think, between working with my sister down there, we think we've got a spot for that truck to go tomorrow down there. So thank you to those guys. And I can sit here and start listing them off, but I guarantee you I'd leave somebody off, and I don't want to do that. But I'll just tell you a few little stories that just touch me. Bless my heart, bless my soul. Met with a guy in Grant. That was Wednesday morning. And he was fine, but he had a tree on his no, that was Tuesday afternoon. Had a tree on his house. Middle Tennessee Electric couldn't turn his power back on, but that tree got off. Well, I picked the phone up because Rick Garrels with TriStar Land Improvement had already called me and said, I'll do whatever you need. I called him within 5 minutes, Rick was there, and by supper, Rick texted me and said, hey, that guy's tree's gone, and they had power back the next morning. So, just, I mean, Coach Scott Clemens, Coach Matt Petty, going to the football team, just started on me Tuesday. Hey, what can we do, what can we do? I got a team ready to go, where to go? Well, our biggest problem last week was waiting on insurance adjusters to where people could even start cleaning. So we finally, by Saturday morning, got them something to do, and they went out and got it done. The American Legion. Saturday morning, I rolled up to A.G. Branch, and there's about 20 or 30 veterans just sawing trees and cutting limbs, and it was just, y'all, my heart is big tonight for Smith County. I've said it since I ran for office, this is the best of the best, and we are what's right in the world, and last week proved it. Because when we had a need, the people came. Saturday, I spent Saturday running from Grant to Gornsville, making sure we had supplies to our cleanup crews and making sure people didn't need anything. Well, on Friday, I was going to Joey Harper's house because he got hit pretty hard. There's a van in the driveway. It was a church out of Franklin, Kentucky. It was just driving around. They had come. Saturday, I met a crew out of West Tennessee, Martin Tennessee Church of Christ. They had trucks, tractors, and saws, and just looking for something to do. And I said, well, if you drove this far, we'll find you something to do. So I took off to Phil Hicks's, who's got about 200 trees tore up, so we put them over there working. Saturday, we had a spot at Mr. Kent's house and stuff over there, and he was kind of frustrated because he'd had a crew on Tuesday and Wednesday ready to clean up, but he had to wait for his insurance adjuster. Well, the insurance adjuster finally showed up Saturday. I made one Facebook post, and it was just, we had to turn people away. You got the cracker. I mean, that's just the kind of things I saw last week. I mean, it's blessed my heart, and it's renewed my spirit in the world, because if you sit and watch the media and the news and social media, you think everybody hates everybody and we're so divided. But last week proved that Smith County truly takes care of their neighbors. And it's a blessing to get to know that. And I'm so proud of our county and its people. And it's my honor and my privilege to be mayor of such a great county. But again, thank the Lord and everybody that donated and helped last week. All right, so on to the next thing. I have a meeting tomorrow with the EMS team and Riverview Regional concerning the coronavirus and our preparedness. They've already met some last week, but I'm going in to meet with them and find out what their plans for containment is. God forbid we get something like that. Mr. Duke called me today. He and I are going to form a task force this week, to make sure our preparedness. We think if we get ahead of this, then we're ahead of the game. And if, God forbid, we do get a case, which I pray that we don't and hope that we don't, we'll be on top of things. So that's an update on that, and I've talked long enough. So, but I want to brag on my county and our people. So as bad as it was, I am hopefully encouraged by what I saw last week. Ms. Daisy, would you have any financial reports or any questions for Daisy on the financial reports? If not, we'll move on to committee reports. Anybody want to speak about a committee that's met since we last met? All right, we'll move on to new business. New business A is acknowledgements. If I could get the band to come down here, the stars of the Daytona 500. Did everybody get to see their video and watch them perform down there that night, or that day? I believe they played a pretty special song for a pretty special guest that day, didn't they, when he was coming in? That was, there's a lot of good stuff going on in this county. I'm proud of the people and what we're getting done. Smith County Mayor in honor of Mr. Davy Edmondson and the Pride of the Upper Cumberland. Whereas over the past year, Mr. Davy Edmondson and the Pride of the Upper Cumberland has been invited to perform in many different locations and events. Whereas in October of 2019, the Pride won the Class AA title at the Small Band Championships for the state of Tennessee. And whereas Tri-M Music Honor Society was formed, Tri-M is a prestigious club for those who want to do something music related after high school. The Tri-M students also established Hoots, a special needs band that teaches these students the basics of music and has them playing along with the band at concerts. And whereas the Pride put on 4 concerts a year, adding a hymn-based concert that invites local churches to perform with the band. And whereas the Pride have been invited to different events to perform, including the Tennessee Titans halftime show on December the 15th of 2019, the Vanderbilt Commodores basketball team in January 2020, The game was aired on ESPN2 and the band was shown live, and the Pride was selected and performed for over 150,000 people during the pre-race show at the Daytona 500. The band also performed Hail to the Chief for President Donald Trump. And now therefore the Smith County Mayor on this the 9th day of March 2020 does hereby present this letter of honor to Mr. Davy Edmondson and the Pride of the Upper Cumberland for their accomplishments and future endeavors representing Smith County, Tennessee. Thank you. Yeah, we should bring you. Next time, bring your instruments. We can play. You bring them with you. Thank y'all. Thank you. I'm very proud. All right, we'll move on to item D. Before you, on pages 41, 42, and 43 are some budget amendments. I would take a motion to group and approve all at once, or we can pull them out and vote separately. What's the will of the body?
Make a motion to combine them all together.
Second.
Motion for Chad, seconded by Judge Stewart. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. I would take a motion to approve resolutions 1, 2, and 3. Motion approved with a motion. Second. Second by Dustin Dillhay. I have a motion and a second to approve resolutions 1, 2, and 3. Any discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call. Stacy?
Channing Green,
Yes.
Glenn Reese,
Yes.
Billy Bass,
Yes.
Greta Kirby,
Yes.
Jason Stewart,
Yes.
Jimmy Winfrey,
Yes.
Daniel Cripps, Don Pascal,
Yes.
Shannon Michie,
Yes.
Erica Eagle. Yes. Ron Schumay,
Yes.
Ron Cowan,
Yes.
Linda Nixon,
Yes.
Eddie Stout,
Yes.
Roger Dew,
Yes.
Charles Kent,
Yes.
Bill Reese,
Yes.
Tommy Vane,
Yes.
Joey Nixon,
Yes.
Dennis Hackett,
Yes.
Dustin Dillhay,
Yes.
David Gross,
Yes.
Frank Woodard,
Yes.
Yes. All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, page 44, you have a list of notaries. I would take a motion to approve that list.
Motion to approve.
Dennis Hackett,
Second.
second, Don Pascal. I have a motion and a second to approve that list. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Item number 11, other business. Is there any other business? Nope. I'll take item number 12, motion to adjourn. Frank Woodard,
Second.
second. Dennis Hackett. A motion and second, all those in favor? You are adjourned.